This week's episode is brought to you by the band Genesis, formed at Charterhouse School in Surrey in 1967. One of the most successful and long-lasting lineups consisted of Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, and singer Phil Collins. He was also the drummer. Genesis. It's always the same. It's just a shame. That's all. Welcome to Nexus at Night. This is the only episode that may or may not be a spoiler for both Endgame and Game of Thrones at the same time. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
So, I was kidding. Today we're talking about the progenitor dragons, which are strides that, much like the Zeroth dragons of near the end of G-Era, things that represent whole nations rather than just clans. And they are the cover cards of the upcoming premium collection. Now, normally we would just do the set review and talk about them then, but I think these are a big deal enough to where they deserve their own episode. A. B. I need more. We need more like ideas for that sick tent because we're always reaching for ideas. And C. I think because Zeroth dragons got their own episode, why shouldn't the progenitor dragons? So, we're just going to go through them one by one like we would do with a normal set review and then kind of talk about them on the whole. So why don't we kick it off with the United Sanctuary one?
Alrighty. Progenitor Dragon of Total Purity, Agnos. So, it is a stride. You discard a card with the same card name as a card on your Vanguard circle and stride it. And then continuous in the G zone. This cannot be turned face up by card abilities. If this card is face up, you can stride without paying the stride cost.
Imagine the fuckery of like, all right, turn this face up with, Asha.
Literally anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then auto Vanguard circle, counterblast 1, soul blast 1. Call as many cards from your hand to all rearguard circles as possible, and then draw 3 cards.
So
Easy.
All right, now my question is it you keep using your hand like you call on top of stuff until you run out of hand, or is it fill all the circles at once, then draw 3?
I think, call on top, call on top of things, because it doesn't specify open rearguard circle, so just however many cards are in your hand, dump them onto your rearguard circles until they're full, I think.
But because it's just the one effect, you're only, let's say you have 4, you're a forest clan, you have 5 rearguard circles, and you have 7 cards in hand. Do you call 5?
I would assume you call
2? Or
I don't know. I would assume you just call 5 until all rearguard circles has been filled, and then draw the 3 cards. But this is worded strangely, and they don't have any clarification text.
Something tells me it's not going to be use the entirety of your hand, call 5 and then keep calling cards until you have 0, then draw 3. Because that would be A, stupid, B, stupid, and C, strangely suited to Brave and nothing else.
Oh god, I can actually, go back and play Brave.
Yeah.
No, don't.
No, man. So, it appears that this is going to be a pattern. You have to pay the same cost as your Vanguard, much as you would with the Zeroth Dragon. And this allows you to stride for free. Oh boy. Matt, hit us with that Dragon Empire.
Alrighty. Progenitor Dragon of Lightning Flame Gilgal, because we have to combine Narukami and Kagura somehow.
And nothing else. No other
again,
Dragon Empire clans.
Again, you have to stride with the same name as something on your Vanguard circle, and it can't be turned up by abilities, and as long as it's face up, you can stride without paying its stride cost. So this one has an act on Vanguard circle, Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1. Until end of turn, this unit battles all of your opponent's units in one attack, and gets power plus 10,000, and gains an auto skill that when its attack hits, you can countercharge 1. I suspect that this skill will likely be Soul Blast 1, wipe your opponent's boards, countercharge 3. A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, the card is sweet.
I mean, the fact that it's not counting just for that one battle, it's for each thing you hit, you get a countercharge.
So just like the old Brawler shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. This is giving me late Legion era vibes. This is great.
And this feels very Dragon Empire-y, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I think what's really nice about the G Zone ability is that like this is gonna get like if the game is prolonged after this point, this ability gains a lot of value because like you're no longer paying like stride cost by discarding grade 3s, right? Which means you can now start riding them.
Oh, so you
for
keep
gifts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start getting more and more circles as Narukami, and then awesome.
God, I wanna play Narukami again.
It's quite fun. I have the deck, and it's pretty dope. Let's see, that's you again, Matt.
I think. Oh, I was just gonna cap off. Like I think this is like better than the Royal Paladin one.
Oh, it's not even close.
Oh, definitely.
The Royal Paladin one's just really awkward, and I kind of don't know how it works, which is weird.
I like how we're calling it the Royal Paladin
Yes.
one when it's not technically Royal Paladin.
Oh,
It's-
you're right. It's not the United Sanctuary one. United Sanctuary, Royal Paladin, same thing, really. All right. So
Also, just a reminder that VMAX was a new and unique skill.
you're
Yes.
right. All right. So the Stargate one is it looks like a Link Joker card for some reason.
I love this
Progenitor
thing.
Dragon of Horizon Limit Origorem. So again, stride, blah blah blah, stride, pay with the same card, blah blah blah, G zone, can't be turned face up, blah 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 blah, can stride without paying a stride cost. Anyway, when it attacks, you can counterblast 1 and increase or decrease the power of all of your opponent's units to 0 until end of turn. I assume there's supposed to be an if you do in there. Like when it attacks, you can counterblast 1 if you do. Make all of your opponent's power 0.
I can't read Japanese, so I'm not sure if that is the.
So this card
exact
seems
text.
pretty good. I just don't know where it's good. Like it's just like a very vanilla effect.
It's a very vanilla effect, but it's a great like first stride just to set yourself up for the rest of the game.
Like, if like, would you play this card if like you had a stride that was like give plus 12k to your front row? Would you like be excited about this card?
Not as much. I think it's better than the United Sanctuary one. I think.
I think this is very weak.
Really, like
counterblast 1 for plus 12k is just not what we expect out of strides.
yeah. Now, if it kept it that way for the turn,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, that's foreshadowing for a couple weeks from now. All right, so Progenitor Dragon of Gloomy Dark Formido. So the first 2/3 of the effects are the same as the last 3. If you don't know what it is, you're not paying attention. And then 1 place, you can counterblast 1. Your opponent chooses the same number of his or her rearguards as the number of your open rearguard circles and retires them. If 3 or more are retired, you soul charge 5 and draw a card. Cool.
This is sweet.
Yes. Because in pretty much every, like in 3 of 4 Dark Zone clans, you're going to have an empty-ish board, or you can choose to have an empty-ish board to just get that off. And in one case, you're making Excel circles, which makes that more retires. I like this thing a lot. It helps you set up for with DIs or Pale Moon, and especially Pale Moon. And I love this thing, and it's definitely going in my deck. I don't know how it's going to work with spikes or gears, though.
Yeah,
Most importantly, it says draw a card on it.
Yes, that is.
I
a
feel
big
like
deal.
you could make this a dark irregular card, and it doesn't substantially change the card itself.
Oh yeah, if you chopped off the last third of that effect and stuck it on like another Char Hot card, I would have been like, all right.
Yeah, no, you could just like literally change this to like the make it like a normal stride for DI, and we'd be like, yeah, this seems like a pretty good card.
Yeah.
The fact that it works with things like Spike Brothers and Gears is really bizarre. Because like, Gears is not a clan that's just like, you know what we need? Soul Charge 5.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see what Spikes could do with this.
Miracle Ace come back, maybe?
No, God, not even close.
Yeah, I think you're mostly like if you're not DI or Pale Moon, you're just going to be using this for the free stride part and the draw.
Yeah.
I don't think the soul really matters that much now. In the very, very limited testing I've done with this in Pale Moon, this is very good on first stride just because, like, yeah, you can go into Masquerade Master Harry, but you know what's even better? Being able to go into Masquerade Master Harry without discarding anything. That's fun. I think that's going to be like a pattern where you're not going into this card for their effect. You're going into this card for the later turns.
Should be noted that this ability can't be used for the Zeroth dragons because it's not stride; it's ultimate stride, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So you still have to discard the same card as your Vanguard. I'm positive that's going to be something that people are going to try to do. So you heard it here first, folks. If someone's going to go into a Zeroth dragon, they still got to pay the same cost as their Vanguard. All right. Hit it,
All
Beer.
Progenitor Dragon of Deep Sea Balan Arena. So, again, same first 2/3 of the skills are the same, and then Auto Vanguard, when your opponent's Guardian is placed, discard a grade 1 or less card from your hand and retire it.
Cool.
Neat.
This is very un-Magalanica.
I think the idea is that Magalanica attacks a lot, and then this helps them attack a lot better, but you're discarding cards every time you do it.
As a Grand Blue player, I just got a little happy.
Yeah.
One thing I dislike about this card, and this kind of fits with what I dislike about the United Sanctuary one and what I dislike about the Stargate one, is like you want to use these cards early to set up kind of a long-term advantage, at least like further G-Zone ability.
Well, you're getting
But
a
this
plus
card
one
is not
every-
what that. This card doesn't do that, right?
Oh, because you have to discard
Yeah.
to do the skill.
Well, you presumably if you're starting this thing, you want to use that skill to try to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
Because like,
go ahead.
because like the only thing that can't this can't get through is a PG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, using it early doesn't seem like it would be that effective because they can afford to take a damage or two and kind of neutralize a lot of the effectiveness. And then, like, if you use it a lot early, you're burning through your own hand just as much as your opponent's, so...
And like striding it and just doing nothing with it feels really bad.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Even if you are gaining a little bit of advantage later.
I mean, your every card you're guard breaking is a card you're wasting to guard break that.
Well, I mean, if it's too early, like how much is your opponent going to even guard?
Yeah. And also, like, it's grade 1 or less, too, so you're going to be discarding a lot of, like, back row and triggers, probably. So...
Like you're discarding higher guard on average than your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, unless you're going for an early rush and try to finish them quickly, like, it seems like you're sacrificing just as much, if not more, than your opponent. Especially if they're playing a different nation and can stride into something like Gilgal or Formido that can set up a little better than this card.
Yeah, and this is kind of, neither here nor there. But where is his head? Like, it just it looks like a giant blob.
It's right there in front of you.
I mean, okay, my eye is drawn to his, like, kind of midsection thing with the white.
Yeah, you go up.
That's not his head. At the top, I guess it's his head, but that also looks like a hand or a foot. Or, like,
What? It's not you can't ascribe human features to this creature, sir.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just, I hate when there's a card and, like, your eye is drawn to the wrong thing. Not the head, like old Dragon Mage in Narukami. That's a big, the draw trigger is guilty of it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that card existed.
Whatever. That's neither here nor there. It seems like the two clans that could use this the best are either Aquaforce if they open up good enough and they can maybe take a gamble, or B, Grand Blue, who can, alright, I'm going to discard this. Oh, wait, no, it's got to be grade 1 or less. You can't even discard, like, Skeleton Cannoneer or something.
What, not Bermuda?
Yeah, like, not the clan that can draw the most cards out of the three.
I mean, yeah, but don't you want to use those cards for stuff?
Yeah, kill your opponent.
Especially now that we have a better Devil Summoner that we can just rush with.
Oh my god.
Not looking forward to that was one of the things I lost to in
I think I speak for
Springfest.
everyone when I say fucking Bermuda.
I still need to go pick up the TD.
Just
Yeah, it's
order it
only like
online.
the best TD ever fucking made.
I know, right?
Too bad the set was awful.
Really? Damn.
I mean, the you need all, but you still need all the VRs, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we did an episode on it. That was, and I'm still going, really? Like, I haven't heard of this before? I'm a good
you need
podcast host.
every VR, basically. It's the most expensive deck you can build.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that crap.
All right. So, last one, and this is
The most bizarre.
this is the weirdest thing I have ever read. Progenitor Dragon of Regal Birth Megaloma. So, for the Zoo Nation, fucking listen if you didn't know what the first two are. And the last skill is, when placed, it costs discard 2 cards from your hand. And for one time during the next turn, when you would lose, return all of the cards from your hand and damage zone into your deck. Shuffle it. Put 5 cards from the top of your deck into your damage zone and end that turn instead.
What?
And then it says perform all effects and rule actions. So, first thing that I should clarify, because this is what everyone thought of. If your opponent is attacking you and they're hitting you for, like, if you're at 5 and they are hitting you with 2 crit, if you do this skill, when you put the 5 cards in damage zone, you have to continue doing the crit. So then you would then take your
7th damage,
your quote
technically.
7th damage, which is now your 6th damage. So
But you could still Miracle Heal.
yes, you could still Miracle Heal. Another thing that this counters is, ironically, the Zeroth Dragon for Zoo Nation, where if the 99,999 thing hits you and auto wins, it does not auto win. So,
Alright, but if you do this skill, no one's gonna fucking go into Noah. Or Zoa.
of course not. I'm just saying that that's a thing you can do. But what the hell is this thing?
I don't even. So this is the most bizarre card I've ever seen in this game.
Yes.
It is a loss replacement effect, which are pretty standard in some other games. But this is the first time I think Vanguard has ever seen one.
I believe so. This is the first time Vanguard has gotten a Relay Soul or an Infinity Zero or a Divine Serpent. I'm just listing Yu-Gi-Oh cards that let you be at 0 life points and not lose. But yeah, this is very strange. The fact that you have to sacrifice your whole hand in order to do the skill makes it hard to make a comeback. But at the same time, after you have done this thing, you then get to stride for free next turn. Yep. So maybe you go into something that has stuff you can do. Like when we get to the premium collection episode, I'm going to bring this up again when we get to those 3 zoo clans. I think that those 3 zoo clans can make use of this to an extent, but like I
think any deck can make use of a "let's not lose right now" button.
No, but I mean, like, be able to make some sort of comeback instead of just kind of floundering with no hand. I think that you could, in theory, you could also just not pay the cost and just whatever, just be a vanilla like a Seabreeze, and then have free stride on subsequent turns. Great if you're behind, though. Like, if you're playing against Gold Paladin, they get you to 5, and then you go into this, you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm hitting the nuke button. Anybody want to weigh in here? Because
I just don't know what to think of this. Like, it's like they saw Zoa and is like, okay, let's do the exact opposite of that.
Okay, Zoa lets you auto win. Let's not lose.
So, in Magic, there's a card called Lich's Mirror, which came out in 2007 or something, in a set called Shards of Alara. And it says, it's a 5-mana artifact, and it says, if you would lose the game, instead shuffle your hand, graveyard, and all permanents you own into your library, then draw 7 cards, and your life total becomes 20.
So
this card is like
fairly
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card is like fairly similar in the sense where like you technically have like are not losing the game anymore, but you also have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you very likely you have no cards. You're probably not in a great board state, and like I think the games in which this ability is ever going to be relevant is very narrow, despite the ability being like really absurd.
Yeah, I find it very situational, and And especially if you're going to be paying, the cost that's the same as your Vanguard. And for 2 of the clans in Zoo to make liberal use of Zoa, I think that is, like, having to pay the cost for Stride every turn I think is more worth it to have to pay in order to get a better chance of getting Zoa off properly than it is to go into this and kind of like, all right, try to come back for them this, I guess. I think if anybody's going to use it well-ish, it would be Neonectar, but even then, not quite.
Yeah, and also this has a huge disadvantage compared to the other dragons, where it actually does nothing on your first stride, unless you're already at 5 damage for some reason.
I mean, the real nightmare is you pay the cost, and your opponent's like, all right, I just don't even like.
End turn.
Yeah, like, well, no, like not even that. Like your opponent's gonna tackle their Vanguard, right? And you're just gonna take it and be still not in a great spot. Like, like you're just paying so many cards. Like, it's easier just to just guard it.
Yeah.
Unless you're behind. This is really good if you're behind.
Well, what are the odds that it's going to turn the game around if you're behind? Is my question.
Yeah. What if your opponent decides to just harass all your rear guards and put you further behind?
I guess my point is, like, this card isn't going to protect. Like, if you're enough behind, this card isn't going to turn the game around in a substantial way, more than likely.
Yeah, well, because in general, a lot of, like, all the Zoo clans are rearguard based, with the possible exception of Mega Colony, depending on how you slice it. Like, you need rearguards to do things in Great Nature and Neonectar, especially. So, yeah, I think this might... I was like, what could be worse than the United Sanctuary one? Fucking, I guess we found it. Aside from a very, very narrow situation.
Yeah.
No one's going into this if they're ahead.
I think the Zoo one is the worst one.
Yeah.
Who's the best one?
I think the Kagura one is probably the best one by a fair margin.
Yeah.
I think my favorite trend about this episode is Matt just calling the nation's whatever clan is, like, the most popular in that nation.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, what I meant was the Zoo one is the worst, and the Dragon Empire one is the best. Look, you guys know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but it's funnier to me because one of my favorite things when listening to a podcast is listening to the host get something wrong, and then you're like, you fucking idiots, and you're like, I think I've made this joke in the past, and it's not mine, but I've heard it somewhere.
Right. Tell me the Dark Zone one is not a Dark Irregulars card.
Looks like a Pale Moon card.
Does it? Are you sure?
Does it, though?
He's got kind of that, like, glittery, like, white and purple, almost looks like he's wearing a top hat, but not quite, card. Like, also, you see more dragons in Pale Moon than you do in Dark Irregulars.
But, I don't know. I just think, like, Dragon Empire is, like, the best one by a fair margin.
Oh, for sure.
I think
that one's just the most flexible, really.
Well, it just does what you want a card to do, really. It lets you just be dumb with resources and then throw them back.
And then, as well, you get, like, the clans that, like, in Dragon Empire that blow things up are everything except Nubatama and Murakumo. And this does that very well. So,
even they could use it for, like, coming back from behind.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So that, like, because it already does what, 3/5 of the nation wants to do, and for the other 2/5, it's like, why the hell not? That's fine. Like, I'm okay with this. Yeah.
Retiring units is just, like, never that bad. And, like, the fact that you get to retire literally fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure, I'm good.
I think, and Matt's probably going to fight me on this, I think Arigarem is the second best one.
That could be true. I think the middle, like, 4 are all really close. Like, I think the United Sanctuary, Stargate, Dark Zone, Magallanica are all, like, pretty close to each other. Like, none of them are, like, particularly impressive, except for the Dark Zone one in specifically Dark Irregulars.
Well, not even that, just because it has to see 3 things hit the drop zone to get your soul charge and your draw. It means that if the opponent knows this is coming, they're just not going to commit to the board as much depending who they are. If they're Gold Paladin, they're not going to give a fuck, and you can punish them like hell. But it can be taken advantage of by the opponent. Now, a Rigoram, on the other hand, doesn't really care. It's going to give you plus 12 to 13 to your front row. No questions asked.
I think, yeah, I think you might be right in the sense that a Rigoram, you're always getting like what you want. Like you always get what you want out of it.
Yeah. And then another thing with Gloomy Dark is that it chooses. So in Premium there are cards with resist, or your whole board gets resist for whatever stupid reason because Giera, which that can just get around it. So.
Right.
That is certainly a thing. Now, the fact that this is making it so that you can stride for free for every moment, every turn after, what does this do for, like, Premium format in general? Are people going to be aiming for these the first stride, like, or bust, or is it just like if you can slip it in while you can to start plussing every turn after? What do you think?
I'm actually not sure because, like, the free stride is more of a long game thing or a consistency thing, and so like Premium being pretty fast probably cares less about the free stride thing than more than likely, and the fact that it's kind of hard to stride these guaranteed early because you need the same card as what's on your Vanguard circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't see them impacting Premium in a way where people are willing to play more slow decks because these things are hard to stride early necessarily.
Yeah, and especially the only thing that can either get you ahead or protect you are, still getting used to the names, Gilgal, Formido if the opponent, committed early, and unfortunately Megaloma. But yeah, part of me thinks
there
this
is the
came too
factor
late.
of like being able to keep duplicates of grade 3s for rewriting for force and for gifts.
Yeah, and especially now with Gift 2, which go listen to last week's episode if you don't know about that yet. With Gift 2 being around, that means that like depending which gift you went into, maybe this helps with your offense even, or
Right.
Like. Hell, the Excel 2 thing, you start getting like it ends their turn right there. Let's say you, for some weird reason, happen to get a like grade 3 off the draw or something. Now you get a new Excel circle, you draw a card that's something, and then you go into what's his face? The upcoming Stride and Premium collection for Great Nature, and proceed to plus a bunch because this is one giant teaser for the Premium Collection episode. Let's see, what clans do you think can make the best use of this? Like specifically,
That's hard. Well, I don't even know that Gold Paladin would make use of this because their new stride just lets them stride even faster.
Yep. Foreshadowing. Agnos is too slow for Gold Paladin. Like,
Yeah.
Gold Paladin is like, we don't need you.
They don't need free strides. They can already stride when you're still at grade 1.
Like, it's like hiring a librarian in a laser tag place. It's just not really needed. Let's see. I think something like Genesis could make good use of it because they commit a lot from hand. So if you just, alright, I'm just going to kind of, shit out my board and then draw some cards and then, start plussing from there. I think Genesis could make good use of it. I think,
OTT maybe to be able to draw back cards.
Sure.
I'm trying to think.
Shadows seem like they could have a good time because if you're just going to wipe your board and get more stuff anyway, what do you care?
Yeah.
Royals, I'm not sure. I think,
I feel like you would want to just stride normally, especially if you're doing Blaster Rush.
yeah. Now another thing, like, about having to have the 2 copies of the grade 3, like, any deck that can search grade 3s just willy-nilly is going to have an easier time making use of this. Unfortunately, one of those clans is Great Nature, which is in Zoo Nation. And I shed a single tear that
Wrong
I have
one.
the ability to help set this up better and not have good use of it.
Have you considered getting a better progenitor dragon?
You would think, right? You would think that Great Nature would be like, you know what, I'm sick of this shit. Let's go over to Dragon Empire. Managarm is an omniscience dragon. That counts, right?
I haven't read anyone's reaction to these cards, so I assume that people really like Megaloma. But I don't actually know. Because the effect is so wacky. People are like, oh my god, it's so broken, or some nonsense. And it's just like, eh.
I think anybody that loses a lot is going to like Megaloma. They're like, finally.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rude.
What do you mean I lose a lot? I don't like it.
People, or they just think the card will save you no matter what, which is not the case either.
Yeah, well, they know the ruling now. And I think that's one of the first things that came out with the stream. They were like, guys, this does not stop multiple critted things. Which, by the way, those are quite common in Premium, which makes me think that you might be kind of screwed either way, especially with Force 2 gifts. Everything's base crit 2.
Yeah.
Great. Get ready to get screwed up the ass.
Wait. You can play the Megalonica one with base crit 2 on some rearguard circle and just keep whacking them with the same rearguard circle over and over again.
Oh my god. Yes, you can.
Oh no.
Beautiful.
Great. Let's see. So these things were made to be the antitheses to the Zeroth dragons because Messiah and Gizeh fought each other in some lore thing that I'm not paying attention to. By the way, I have gotten questions asking if we're ever going to do an episode covering the lore. The only time that's going to happen is if I take a blow to the head and Matt and Root Beer want to just see where it goes.
Well, you guys assume I know the lore.
That's
well,
what
you guys are...
No. It's one of those things where like your friend is doing something stupid. You're like, we should stop him.
But we're not going to.
But
it's too funny.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get a lore episode. But so they fought each other, and Gizeh had Zeroth dragons.
See, we can do the lore of Bermuda Triangle.
Fuck no.
Why?
So they fought each other, and then Gizeh had the Zeroth dragons, and the United Sanctuary has the progenitor dragons. Now, let's say, why don't we go ahead and compare them to each other? So you have Agnos versus Ultima. Who wins? This is an easy one.
Ultima.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. I think that even with like stand triggers like not being as good anymore, although using them for their effects is good, that Ultima fucking wins. Dragon Empire, I think I'm gonna go with Gilgal on this one.
Dang.
Gilgal is just applicable for more situations. Drachma is a very situational, maybe this will let you win.
I think Drachma's pretty good. I just think...
Or he's better now than he used to be.
Yeah.
What's weird is, like, Gilgal is just useful in every single Dragon Empire deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like... I don't even think you can construct a normal Vanguard deck where this card would not be good.
I can't either. Maybe something that uses, like, a fuck ton of counterblast. But
Or no Counterblast, like some DI variant.
maybe.
What do I need Countercharge for?
Yeah, exactly. All right. For Stargate, I think this one might actually be close to a tie-ish. Like,
I don't know. Stark being able to stand 3 times.
well, no,
Attack.
Can it stand if it
Attack.
never rested? Yeah, exactly.
It attacks 3 times
Yeah.
at 36, especially with like Force or Force 2, where you just attack 3 times with a crit.
or Laurel with the doubled
Yeah.
power. Now, I do think you have to consider the getting free stride forever that comes with each progenitor dragon, because they're by themselves the effects are not as strong as Zeroth dragons because they're not supposed to be. You're supposed to do them early, and the Zeroth dragons are later. So just consider that in how you assess these cards, because I saw a couple of people being like, but Stark is better. I'm like, they're doing different things for different reasons. All right, Dark Zone. If this was late Jira and I could somehow see into the future Bioshock Infinite style, I would have said Dust. But unfortunately, that is not the case because of how guarding works, and Formido takes the win even though it's also situational. For me?
But at this point, like, the change to guarding kind of neuters a lot of Dust's appeal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have one, so that's fun. I mostly
Rip.
just use them as flip targets for something else. Or if I ever decide to build Gize, which, again, that will probably be a Atlas Takes a Blow to the Head episode. Magellanica.
I want to say Megiddo because, like, both of them help you kill your opponent, but this one also costs a lot, so if you don't have enough grade 1 or lower cards in your hand, you can't really do anything with Balan Arena.
I have an
Yeah.
important question.
Yeah.
Which Megiddo?
Does it
Obviously, the
really
idol-
matter? It matters. Great. Fuck you guys.
Idol Balan Arena when?
I mean, I could see it happening. That'd be pretty dope.
It's gonna happen. I'm not even sure why we're pretending it won't.
Now, what's his face? Megiddo is like Grand Blue's win condition for the most part, so I'm gonna have to go with Megiddo. That said, I was playing against my friend Vince's Messiah deleters, and he was on Greydall. And does anybody remember one of Greydall's effects? Okay.
Nope.
His continuous skill is that the opponent cannot move rear guards on circles, so that means like Megiddo is literally dead in the water. I did not know this until I tried to ultimate stride against him, and then tried to move the Skull Dragon to the back row, and he's like, "Nah, mate." And I was like, "Shit."
Get
Yeah.
fucked.
Get fucked indeed. Thank God that was not in a tournament. That was a casual game, and I know that for next time. And if you need to guess on the zoo one, I'm going to punch you in the face. It is Zoa all the goddamn way.
Now hold on a sec.
But what if I'm what if I'm that terrible at the game where...
But what if I construct a situation where only Megaloma would win? That proves it's better, right?
But Megaloma doesn't win, it helps you not lose. I think that's the tragedy of Megaloma, is that everything else at least, like, helps you get closer to your goal, and Megaloma just stops the opponents from happening.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there is
Yep.
a difference, you know?
Not losing is not the same as winning. That's true.
Yeah. This is like shitting your pants and throwing out the undies versus not shitting your pants. So, yeah, that was pretty much all the Zeroth dragons. Okay, that's probably going to be something I'm going to do a
Progenitor
lot.
dragons.
All the progenitor dragons and what we think of them. Now, we will have the premium collection episode next week, so you can go ahead and listen to it and then skip the first half of it because you just listened to 40 minutes of this. Yeah. Where can people find you guys on the internet?
Find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs, 2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Yep, and Plasma Eclipse does art that we occasionally retweet. You can find this podcast at Nexus at Night on Twitter and Instagram that I don't update very often because I'm a bad social media host, and you can find me personally at Atlas Novak, Novack, that is spelled. As well, I wanted to just make an announcement. To anybody who was at the Springfest 2019, I was wearing a Nexus at Night shirt that I made. That is going to be for sale in the coming weeks, as well as a couple of other Nexus Core t-shirts. So if you want to advertise for us and go into work and people are like, what the hell is Nexus Corps? And you're like, look, it's like a game I play and it's a YouTube channel for that game, and just, you know what, go away. Then keep an eye on the Nexus Core YouTube channel because we will have an announcement there fully. What were we going to say?
Imagine talking with your coworkers.
Right.
Like it all, yeah. This is why I'm happy that I mostly work alone. All right, until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.